I need to do this, but I'll do it soon. Or maybe you don't even vocalize it, but there's that change you need to make in your life. You feel it in your gut, right? Or you feel it in your shoulders, but it's scary. It's the unknown. What if? And so they say the devil you know is better than the devil that you don't know, and you stay because it's comfortable. But part of growth we know is getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. Let's talk about 5 behaviors blocking your growth and why you haven't fixed them yet. Number 1, avoiding discomfort. For me, I stayed in relationships and even job situationships that I knew were not for me. I knew they had either run their course, were just completely toxic for me. However, I was terrified of going out and changing the behavior because I didn't know what was out there. I didn't want to seem like a failure. I didn't want to be embarrassed. I didn't want to be alone. And so I stayed. But growth requires fiction. Growth requires discomfort. And so when you start feeling uncomfortable, when you are making these behavior movements, decisions, choices that are new to you, take that as a sign that you're doing the right thing. It's not supposed to feel comfortable all the time, and you got to trust it. Another behavior that blocks your growth is over-explaining yourself once you've made a decision about something. We all do it. You do something and you feel you have to immediately explain it or justify it. But think about it, like, why? They're not asking for an explanation. Yeah, but I feel like they looked at me funny. Yeah, but I feel like they were judging me when I said that. Maybe both of those things are true. Still, the more you explain yourself after doing something, the more it takes the power away from the decision you've made because you start doubting yourself. I talk to women often, and a lot of them have an idea of the small or really large changes they need to make in their life. And they'll tell me what those changes are, but then they'll go on to explain why they need to make those changes. Whereas I'm like, girl, if that's the decision and the choice you want to make it. You don't need to convince me. If you find yourself making a decision or wanting to behave a certain way, and then following it up with an explanation, take that as a sign that you need to stop, take a breath, and pause. You don't need to talk anymore about it. Act, make the decision, make the choice, and go. Another behavior that blocks your growth is staying in the same environment. How many times have you heard from people, I want to change, I'm going to leave him, I'm going to leave the job, I want to be around new people, I'm going to get fit, I'm going to get healthy, but then they don't change anything about their environment, their decisions, their schedule, nothing changes. Proof is in the pudding. Talk is cheap. Stop staying in these environments, but talking about the choices and decisions and life you want. And yes, of course, people start discounting you, like she's never going to change. She's never going to leave him. She's never going to go back to school. She's never going to leave that job. They just start discounting you. But what's more important, because they're going to discount you and we're not concerned with that, you start discounting you. You start believing in not doing it. You start and stay in this non-start mode where all you're doing is talking, staying in the same environment, keeping the same schedule, keeping the same friends, keeping the same community, staying in environments and around things that are not nurturing your growth. So be very cautious when you are on your growth journey about the people you hang out with, the environments you put yourself in, even down to your schedule. If you want to change, maybe it means you need to go to sleep earlier, wake up earlier, take shorter, longer lunches, take shorter, longer breaks. I don't know. You're going to figure that out. But you certainly cannot achieve the changes and decisions you want to make in your life by maintaining the same environment and same customs and habits that you've been doing. It won't work. Another behavior that stops our growth is saying you're going to do something and not following through. You're inconsistent. You start out strong, you get the gym membership, you start working on your resume, you start looking for jobs, you actually stop accepting that person's phone call or texts, and then time passes. Follow through is everything. Your discipline cannot be inconsistent. Your dedication cannot be inconsistent. Your motivation can be inconsistent. Your confidence can be inconsistent. Those are just feelings. Those are just sensations and emotions. I'm not worried about those because we get through those. What must remain is your consistent follow through. I know it's hard. I know it's lonely. I did it, girls. I got divorced with 2 little girls by myself and had no one to turn to that I could look to as a guide. I didn't know what was happening. My Dad was passing away while that was happening, and COVID started a few months later. That's a little uncomfortable, awkward, lonely, sad, just a overload of emotions. But I stayed true to what I knew I had to do to commit to myself. And it wasn't easy. And so when I say these things, I've done it. And I'm still doing it very much today in a different way. And I'm going to continue to, because I know it's not about motivation. It's not about my feelings. It's not about my confidence. It is about choosing to show up consistently, no matter how I feel. And this is a choice we all have. I don't care where you're from. I don't care your background. I don't care any of the things they say we should care about. It doesn't matter. We all have equal choice and opportunity of what we're going to do with our time. Another behavior that stunts our growth is waiting for the perfect time. Well, when the kids are out of school, well, I'll wait until the holidays pass. Once they understand X, Y, and Z, then I'll do it. Okay, is this thing on? There is no perfect time. I don't know where we got that idea from. There is no perfect time. Personally, when I wanted to leave this job that I had, one of my very first big girl jobs, at first it started great, but by year 3, I was devastated, crying, going to work, undervalued, treated horribly. But I stayed and I stayed and I stayed because I said, well, I'm not ready yet. I just need to, get one more paycheck. I need to just get one more quarter in. I need to get one more. And it was always just something else. And I was waiting for this feeling of feeling ready. And it could be a job, it could be leaving a relationship, it could be starting a relationship, it could be going back to school, it could be showing up in a relationship in a new way that you've been wanting to. But you're stalling because you're waiting for that perfect time. You think clarity or confidence are going to come first. It ain't going to come first, I promise you. You will get that after. So understand that waiting for that perfect timing is an elusive, non-reality concept that we were taught. It will keep you in a non-start, non-growth position the longer you wait. You're stalling because that's what you're doing. The reasons you're actually stalling and not starting because you're waiting for the perfect time are just excuses. More excuses, more excuses. So again, get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable and having these conversations with yourself. Because once you do, this is where you're going to start seeing movement. This is where you're going to start looking at yourself and seeing your true value, your true integrity, and that you do have the ability, you absolutely do have the ability to remain committed and consistent to something you have made up your mind about for yourself.